Did you give them their medicine?
I don't know. Did you?
There has got to be an easier way to do this.
I know.
I just get lost in the medicine.
It's crazy.
So if you're like us, stick around to figure out how we manage all the medication in our home.
We are a family of 5 living on a ranch in Texas.
On our channel, we will cover a variety of topics. These are solely based on our experience and opinions, and we do not hold any degrees in childhood development or education.
Welcome back to Parenting on the Ranch. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Curtis.
Today we're going to be talking about medication and how we handle it.
But before we get into that, please make sure you click on the subscribe button as well as the bell icon down at the bottom right hand corner so you don't miss any of our videos.
So if you've been following our channel for any length of time, you know that we've had 23 kids in our home with a wide variety of medication. Wide variety.
Yeah.
Of medication due to behaviors and other things. When we started our foster care journey, we were required to document medication, dosage, side effects. Yeah, it was all on me. So that goes to our next thing. In our house, we have a rule, well, at least we used to have a rule, that only one person was allowed to give medication. That way, they were responsible for it, and it was given when it was supposed to, who it was supposed to, and we just kept on track that way.
But that didn't really work.
It did for a while. There was a day that I had to go away from the house. I was running errands or something, and somebody was sick, of course, and you were required to give the medication. It got crazy. Once we left our foster care journey, we're like, okay, we have 3 kids. We've done this with 23 kids. We probably have a handle. We can do it. No problem.
We don't need no paper to write it down on or anything like that. No.
Yeah, no. That'd
How
be
hard
too
can it
easy.
be?
So we kind of were flying by the seat of our pants at this point. We had small pieces of paper on the refrigerator. You saw them a second ago. That we just jotted notes, like what we gave, when we gave it.
This way and that way.
Yeah, front, back, up the side. It was crazy. So the big aha moment of like, we got to get some control over this was winter hit. Our kids, if you've been watching, when they get sick, they all get sick. And
everybody gets sick.
Everybody gets sick. And it is why you need Tylenol, Motrin, cough and cold, all the things.
And then you got to worry about the younger kids versus the older kids.
Yeah, and the doses that you give, because they're spanned enough now that they each take a different dose. Mm-hmm. It was great when they were like all under 2 and they all took 5 milligrams. That was it. But now, they're
now
preteens.
Now Gage takes 5 and Cassie takes 7.5,
yeah.
And Raven takes 10, and Gage is with this one medicine, and Cassie and Raven are another medicine.
Well, that's the one thing we've learned really quickly, to make sure you keep the box, especially with over-the-counter medicine. We just rip the top off. That way you have the dose chart, because some go by weight, some go by age, and it's all there. You can. It has it on the bottle, yes, but how many times have you taken that medication out of your refrigerator and it's sticky and ooey and kind of gross? Mm-hmm. Especially if our kids get a hold of it, like trying to help. Yeah, it gets kind of messy. Mm-hmm. So I want something clean, like the box that I can keep it in. And we do have 2 separate sections of medicine. We obviously have the refrigerator stuff that you're supposed to refrigerate, but we also have our medicine cabinet. It's a regular cabinet, but it's our medicine cabinet in the kitchen where we keep all the other things. Nasal sprays, ear drops, eye drops, chapstick, inhalers, all the things.
All the stuff that doesn't have to be refrigerated is in there.
Yeah. The one thing to think about if you are putting things in your refrigerator is Tylenol, kids' Tylenol. We normally, kids' medication comes with a little serving cup on the top. yes, it's handy if you have bigger kids, but we resort to the syringe. Easy peasy, not a whole lot of mess, not a whole lot of spillage either.
Yeah, and some of them, like the Tylenol, actually come with a lid that is...
it has like a gasket on top.
Where you just stick the syringe in there, turn the bottle upside down, and you can suck it out. But it makes it... Having that lid, though, makes it really hard to pour out into a cup.
But I think it's for you to be able to turn upside down and squeeze. But the thing to consider about kids' Tylenol, especially the Tylenol, when you put it in the refrigerator, it turns to sludge. Like, you're not getting it out.
You better have 4 arms of steel trying to squeeze out of that bottle.
It doesn't come out. So in that case, the syringe comes in super handy. And like I said, our kids, they, for whatever reason, they like taking medicine.
We got really, really lucky.
Yes. They are all into it. Like, they know what everything is, what it does. And Gage, he's 3. He will say, Mom, I have a headache. I need Tylenol. So, I mean, he knows what it's for. So, I mean, he can open the refrigerator. It's at the top. It's kid safe. He can't reach it. But he's like, I need that one, or I need this one, or I'm coughing. So he knows what he wants. So thankfully, they'll take medicine. But we use the syringe. I mean, they know how to push it in themselves. We're right there. It's all safe. But I think it just makes it easier because I'm so afraid they're going to spill it. And especially like the more high expensive ones. Like, what was that one? Delsum or something? It's like $12 for a little 4-ounce bottle, I think it was. So I'm like, please don't spill it. So the syringe kind of takes that away, and Raven could be a little more independent at 6. So winter happened. All our kids got sick, and they had prescriptions. They had over the counter. They had obviously like Vicks and what's the other one? The nasal spray, all these things that they had to have. And we just wanted a way to keep track of it. And we're like, okay, maybe, just maybe, they knew what they were talking about in foster care. Like, write it down. And, our big thing is, like, especially when the kids go through things or, surgeries happen and stuff like that, it's kind of like, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. There's no where are you going to pull proof out of if you're like, I think I gave it to, well, maybe, make sure the right kid gets the right thing.
Yeah, and then you're forced into the dilemma of, if you're not sure that you gave it, do you give them another dose and potentially overdose them, or do you not give them at all and let them suffer?
Yeah, that's the other thing that we choose. Thankfully, like, we do over-the-counter cough and cold. It's homeopathic. It's essentially honey. I think honey and some other kind of extract. Raspberry extract or something. So, I mean, it's really not going to hurt them to give them more. But when you get into those prescriptions and things like that, yeah, you really have to be careful. And unfortunately, you said make them suffer, but I just waited out because I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah.
So, caution. So, we came up with a basically simplified form that makes it really easy. Granted, our refrigerator is plastered in cold season especially. But the thing is, our kids get sick in the summer. Like cold and flu type yuckiness.
Always like the second week of school, Raven comes home sick.
Oh man,
never fails.
Spring is the worst when like the cedar is coming out and the.
But I'm talking about in August. Second week of school. Every year that she's gone to school, and this is the 3rd year, I guess, that she's gone to some kind of school.
It's like the second week of school. She gets laryngitis. She loses her voice, her nose. It's bad. But I mean, our kids are like all season sick. I mean, they take things that is more like the Benadryl and stuff like that every day. We don't really, well, at their insistence, we really don't miss any medications. And I mean, we write down everything from their multivitamin, their probiotic, eardrops, eye drop, everything. Because, the trend is, and the thing that I watch for the most, especially, is when do they need to go to the doctor? Like, okay, how many, on this form I can write down fever of whatever it is in Tylenol or Motrin. And the good thing about kids Tylenol and Motrin is 8 hours. So at the 4-hour mark of Motrin, you can give them Tylenol. And I think it's down to a 1-year-old, but check with your primary doctor for that. Mm-hmm. But most of the time I'm told I can give both like 4 hours opposite of each other. Yeah. Because they're processed different in the body. But, writing it down, I see that trend of, okay, we're going on our 4th day of Tylenol because we have a fever. Like, okay, it's time to go to the doctor. So, I mean, it's just essentially notes, but the medication I really want to keep track of. And two, when they start a new medication, you could see the trend of, okay, she's been on her inhaler for a week and it's not doing anything. Mm-hmm. Speaking of medication, in that we do come back in 4 weeks, come back in 6 weeks on almost every medication that our kids take. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a good thing. Granted, side note, our kids have Medicaid. Thankfully, we don't have to pay for it. So I don't feel bad about taking them to the doctor. Like, if something's wrong, they're there, whether I have to pay or not. But, right. Just so you know that we use that. But, I mean, we do a lot of that 4 to 6 weeks. Come back, let's check the medication, make sure it's working, make sure it's affecting them the way that it's supposed to. So, and keeping that list, I mean, I scan it in once we have filled it all out. Once we filled up the form, I scan it into my computer and just keep it in a folder for them. Mm-hmm. That way, when I do go back for that 4 to 6 week checkup on whatever medication it is, I have notes. I have proof that I've been giving it. The time of day might be affecting them, or it might affect them adversely, or it's just not working as effectively. So, just keeping all those things in me is very, very crucial. And our kids, I mean, they're old enough that they can say, oh, my stomach hurts, or I don't feel so good, or whatever it is. So, they can hone in onto the side effects and things of medication. But especially if you have really littles or nonverbal kids, it's a good way to catch the trends before it's out of control. Mm-hmm. So on this form, it's very, very I can't talk. Very, very simple. So it essentially starts with just their name at the top. There's a line to put the date, also the times that you're giving. Now these 4 boxes across the top are the medication information and instructions. So essentially this one is filled out from when Cassidy had. This is just when she had her ear tube surgery and adenoids. She had 4 prescriptions that she had to take. She had amoxicillin, and I write Amox. You can be as detailed or generic that you want to be with the name, as long as everybody that's allowed to give medication in your home knows what you're talking about. It's up to you. But amoxicillin, and then I put twice daily, just so I know how many times I'm supposed to give it. Mm-hmm. Or
that way you don't have to look at the bottle every time, and you don't have to worry about looking at the bottle for the dosage. Everything is right there on that list. You look at it, you got what it is, you know how many times a day you're supposed to do it, and you can look at the time and say, okay, well, this was given at 7 o'clock in the morning, I can give it at 7 o'clock at night then as well.
Yeah. Well, and some medications are very specific, like at bedtime. Mm-hmm. So, it's that way you can see everything, or you're not hunting for those bottles. But I also write the dosage and how many days she's supposed to take it. Like Ciprodex, the ear drops, she gets it twice a day, 3 drops a day until the bottle is empty. So, that's a big detail. And the bottle is teeny tiny. There's not a whole lot of room. And that one is given by the ENT. So there's no prescription label on it. It has like a hospital sticker that has her name and the doctor, but there's no other details on it. So, and then we have Tylenol, what she takes, how often I'm supposed to give it, and then Motrin. So you can see I put the date, the time, and then I just check off which things that I gave her at that time. And I just keep it going down.
And you can, if you and your spouse are doing it, do initials or something like that,
Yeah.
even if you want. That way you can say, well, did I give this, or did you give it, or did I give it? I don't remember if I did or not. You can put initials on there, or just a check mark. Easy peasy, whichever way is the easiest for you. After all, these are your kids.
Yeah. That's how it was in foster care. We had to write our initials whenever we gave it. And that's a good thing too, like if grandparents give it or your babysitter. That way you know who to contact like, are you sure that, like me calling the babysitter and saying, did you give them a medicine because now they're having a allergic reaction to it. You have it, it's right there, plain and simple. So
we just wanted something that would be easier for us to keep track of, that we could keep a list and a running total of, and we could always go back to it. Like we have a 6-week track up or whatever, we can go back to it. Stuff that would basically CYA for us if something ever happened. Not that anything's really going to, but in case something does, we have the documentation to say this is what we did and stuff like that. So we will leave a copy of this. We'll put a PDF file as well as a I think you did this on Excel? Yeah. So we'll leave a link, an editable link for Excel, and a PDF file where you can just print it out if you want in the description below. And you're welcome to download it.
Go ahead. I was just going to add, if you download the editable Excel one, it also has our doctor's form attached in the same thing.
That we talked about last week.
That was on last week's video. So you could check that video. We'll put a link for that video so you can kind of get the stuff. But they are together on that one. With the PDF, it's just the medication form.
Yeah. So, you can simply print it out, handwrite everything in there. I mean, it's just basically a grid, super easy form to fill out and honestly to make too. So, anyways, the links to those will be in the description below.
I said you can be as detailed and generic as you are, but especially when it comes to the medication, make sure you put the name that's actually on the bottle, because we have a medication that it's like hydroxyzine, but it's essentially Benadryl. So if I write Benadryl and I employ someone else, grandparents, babysitter, whoever it is, to give the medication, if they're looking for Benadryl, they might skip the dose. So, it's a good... On the Excel version, you can actually type it in, so you can make it small enough, because some of those names, but or you can handwrite it. But just keep in mind that those types of medication, you and your spouse or whoever may know that that Benadryl is actually this certain bottle in the refrigerator, but someone coming into your home that you're going to ask to do that for you, you just want to be as detailed as you can.
No.
So,
please make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. In the meantime, until our next video comes out, check out these 2 videos over here. And, got some great other videos on our channel. So, until we talk to you next time, happy parenting.